Alright, as per request, we're going to be looking at another tactical squad bonus. This was requested because a lot of people didn't really know how it worked or if it was OP. Kind of sounds OP, but basically it's the Striker AC tac bonus, and it's called China Shop. It reads Bull Rush now does damage to non-friendly buildings. Obviously, you have to play a constructor that has the Bull Rush ability for this to work. And I think at high level, what it should do or how you expect it to work is you can use it as a farming tool when you're not base building. I mean, imagine going into a city map and then bull rushing through an entire building and soaking up all the resources you would got from destroying it. It works a lot like the um, the fist attack on Outlanders that some Outlanders have, the anti-material charge. In practice, it doesn't exactly work like that. So basically, I did 2 more tests this time. I did level 1 Stonewood, obviously, and the ability works really well in level 1. It does a flat 650 damage, and everything in the world at such a low level has less than 650 health, essentially. I don't think I could find a single structure or building or tree or stone that had more than 650 health. So you pretty much run through everything you touch, and it works as a pretty good farming tool. And I think that's the way it's intended to work. However, when you go to level 70, things kind of change. The tests here were a little bit more difficult to do. Most things in the world have a lot more than 650 health. Um, and unfortunately, when you hit something that has more than 650 health, aka something that won't be destroyed when you touch it, it stops the charge. So it kind of forces you to learn the health of, well, everything. Really, you have to, in order to use it effectively, you have to charge through all objects that have less than 650 health, and that's a lot less things than in the Stonewood area. Most walls, trees, things like that have more than 650 health. So it only works with small things like shrubbery and small trees or parking meters and stuff. So you really have to pick the use the ability a lot more selectively in high level zones to get any real use out of it. And so much so that you don't get much use out of it. Another thing to note is that once you go to a level 70 zone, the damage doesn't seem to change. It does a flat 650 in all my tests. I even tried a couple different constructors. And although some constructors have bull rush tweaks that can reduce its cooldown and that can be useful for farming, but nothing that seems to affect the damage. It doesn't seem to change with your tech skill or your offense or any of the other bonuses. It's always 650. And obviously the other perks work. Some constructors can make it go longer than other constructors or get the cooldown reduced in certain situations, but nothing to seem to make it better and do more damage is really what you need. I think the problems with the skill are that it stops when you hit a wall, and I don't see a way around that. I think the only solution to fixing this is either it doesn't stop when you hit a wall or the damage scales. Like most tactical bonuses, there seems to be a scaling issue that they just don't. They all do flat damage, and unless they explicitly say percentage, they seem to do flat damage, which makes them really good early and then terrible in the late game. So that seems to be a common thread with these tactical bonuses. Now it's worth noting that the Bull Rush ability itself is pretty buggy. And this is kind of unrelated to China Shop, but just in general, the startup seems to be a little off in terms of the impact not starting immediately. If you're too close to a wall, you won't actually hit it. You'll just kind of run towards it for a while. If you're too far away, you might catch the end of it and it won't do any damage. There seems to be some problems with the startup and when the shield actually becomes active for taking damage. This is glitchy in itself, but it has a weird side effect when used with China Shop. You can tell from this footage that basically you can glitch it, and I won't go into how you can glitch it, but you can get yourself in a mode where China Shop is always active, and basically just turns you into a resource collecting machine. Um, and it's worth noting that that you can actually do the same thing without the China Shop ability, in that you can be in a state where Bull Charge is active while you're just walking around. It's just not that um, obvious without the China Shop perk, because you're essentially just walking around in a state where you can do damage to things that you interact with. But it's the same amount of damage you would from Bull's Charge, so it's not much, and it's kind of hard to glitch out, so it's not a huge deal, but something that should be fixed nonetheless.